Hello, folks. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about a bad incident. An almost bad incident that happened. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad. Let me explain what happened, right? So, I'm in Bangalore, in Karnataka, in India. So, Bangalore is a city in Karnataka state in India. And last night, it was late night. I think it was 12:30 a.m. So it was basically late night or midnight, you could call it. I think 12 or 12:30 a.m. or probably even 11:30 p.m. I can't recall exact time. Um, so I was with my partner, and I was actually outside. I was actually in one of the roads in Jayanagar. So all the shops and places in that road were closed, and most of the place was dark because there weren't much street lights. We were sitting in front of a coffee shop which was also closed apart from the other shops, and there was no one in that road, I believe, or like mostly no one. Probably few people hundreds of meters away, but in other roads, nearby roads, adjacent roads, and all. But no one much really in that road, and there were no vehicles going around when this incident happened exactly. But there were vehicles going around before that, and I think a bit after that also. But yeah, at some point there weren't much vehicles, or there were no vehicles, and so I was with my partner sitting in front of this coffee shop, almost on the floor of that coffee shop. You call it veranda or whatever. We were sitting and talking. My partner likes to have talks, late night talks, and even I feel that I open up a lot at late night, and it's really good to have a nice conversation late at night and all that. And and it's also outside, and it's Bangalore. It's December, so it was a bit cold. It was a nice weather. No, it's a nice weather and all. And so we were talking, and uh, one moment. Um, okay. So we were talking, and what happened was suddenly, I noticed one vehicle with three people going in it, and they started just shouting at us or something. And I was like, why are they just ragging us or bullying us or something, or staring at us? They just passed through that road and they went off. I believe these people were the same ones who caused the incident. But anyways, so three people on the vehicle. It's a scooter. They went. I didn't notice the people or the scooter very much. And then after some time, after a few minutes probably, we noticed one guy walking on the footpath in front of the shop, walking to and fro. Like he went, I think twice, or he went to and fro once, and I think probably twice, or at least one and a half times. Like he went like this in front of us, and then he went again backwards, and then again he went forward or something. He was standing, and my partner was like, "This guy looks suspicious. We should probably leave or something." And I was wondering if he is trying to probably steal something from me. So I had my phone near me on the floor on top of my bag. So I took my phone, and I was wondering if he is trying to steal or something. And in a few seconds or a minute of time, what happened was a vehicle came in front of us on the road, and there were two folks in it. They got down, and this other guy from the side came up. So totally three guys and three men. I think they were probably school kids, like probably 18, high school kids, or probably 20, not more than probably 24, 25. I think they were pretty small from what I can see. I am 29, and I'm bad at guessing ages, but I know for sure that they were younger than me for some reason, the way they looked, the way they spoke. at least one of the guys, I didn't exactly clearly see the other two guys. I saw one of the guys to some extent. It was dark, right? So really didn't register much of his face. So they three came up. One of the guys came in front, and they all kind of like stood in front of us. We were sitting down. They stood in front of us, looking down on us, and I was like, "What is going on?" I couldn't even like think much on what is going on, and I looked up, and this guy started talking in some language. I don't know what language it was. I'm guessing it was Kannada, because we are in Karnataka. So I was like this, and I was like Tamil or something, and then he said, "What are you doing here in Tamil? Enna pandringa inga," something, in a very loud voice, in a very angry voice. And I was wondering, why is this guy asking this? He is not some sort of like authority, but he spoke as if he is coming from a place of authority, say a police or something, right? Um, but this was just plain like kind of rowdyism, or I don't know what he was going for. And I was like, nothing. And before I could even think clearly of what is going on, and I was actually, this is like late night, right? So I think I was not able to think clearly also, because it's because like I'm probably sleepy or something, I don't know, right? So, and I didn't even like sleep much yesterday, day first yesterday at night, and yesterday evening I was tired, and then I went out to meet my partner. I should have slept for longer, but then timings and whatnot. We were meeting someone, her friends and whatnot. So I went to meet my partner. I wasn't that tired at that time, but I mean, in the evening I was a bit. But at that time when this happened, not that tired, but probably I was sleepy, or I don't know what was going on in my head. I think I was a lot of uh, like I was just confused, and my brain was mostly blank. It was a lot of blank than anything. Like I wasn't able to think, or I wasn't thinking anything. I couldn't think probably. And it was late night, and I was like, what is going on? And he asked me, what are you doing here once? And he asked kind of, and I was like, huh? I think I said nothing. We were just talking, me and my partner, and then I think he asked again or something, and then in a moment's time, before I could think what is going on and all that, he suddenly slapped me. It was a really tight slap. So he slapped me over here, right? Touching my ear and my sideburns. It was a pretty tight slap, right? And while he was asking, and then suddenly he slapped, I didn't even like. It was pretty fast and a tight slap, like a very intense slap over here, and I could just feel a bit of pain over here, and it was hot, very hot over here alone. And I was like, oh my god! And my spectacles just went away like this, because he slapped exactly over here near my ear and my sideburn and all, and it just, my face turned and my spectacles just moved off, right? And it just fell down. I was like, what is going on? I don't know if I was scared. I think I was, I'm not sure. I don't remember being scared, but then I think I was in shock, or I was confused for sure, because I wasn't able to think much really, right? I couldn't act very fast and all that. My nothing was going on. I was just sitting, and I was like confused, and I was just thinking, what is going on? And just looking at him, he slapped me. My spectacles are down, but then I can of course see him still, because I can see nearby things. I have only issues with seeing far by things, far away things and all. So I was able to see him, and the other two guys, like he's telling some guy, I think before hitting me or after hitting me, he told some guy to just stay back. He said Shahid or something, some name, seemed like a Muslim name. And I was just wondering what is going on. I think for a moment I was wondering if it's like some sort of hate crime, or just some religious thing or something. I don't know, like as if to say you're not supposed to roam around like this is wrong according to our religion, or be it Muslim or Hindu or whatever. Like I've heard cases of where like some crazy people get inside pubs and hit people who are pubbing because it's a wrong thing according to them. And I've seen this in movies also, like Hindu people, pro Hindu, Hindutva or whatever, they are going inside pubs and hitting people and saying that this is wrong, this is against the religion, or this is wrong or something, right? and saying that they shouldn't do this. They should do this only if the two people are married, and they shouldn't be dancing around or roaming around. They, in one of the movies, they'll actually force people to actually marry each other, and things like that, or they'll just hit the man and all, right? Political party people and all. I think I can still feel slightly his slap. I'm not sure. Or I just rubbed my face too much. I don't know. Yeah, I think I do feel slightly, very slightly. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, this guy slapped me. I'm wondering what is going on. And then again, he's asking, I think he asked me twice or thrice, like, what are you doing? Totally. Like, totally, I think he asked twice or thrice. And then my spectacles was down, so I think he asked one of the guys to look for the spectacles, and I was wondering what is going on over here. For some reason, I think I was scared also to some extent, and I didn't register that these are just probably kids or like younger than me, and I can handle the situation or whatever. Like I couldn't think anything at all, really, right? And for some reason, I didn't look at them as like um, the wrong people. For some reason, I think I looked at them as some sort of like probably like a informer to a police or something. They're with the police or something, or like some right position, like legal position or something like that, right? More like maybe these people are trying to s- see something wrong in what we were doing. We were just sitting and talking, and maybe they saw something, they felt something is wrong, and they started asking, what are you doing and whatnot. And I don't know like what is their perspective, but I was just wondering, are these people like even legit as in like, are they really good people concerned, or they are just trying to do something? Because they were asking, so this guy who hit me was asking the other guy to actually, so there were just two guys in front of us. The other guy, I think the third guy was in front of the scooter and sitting on it, I think, I don't know. So the guy who hit me was asking the other guy to actually pick up my spectacles, and then it was pretty dark. So even I was just looking for my spectacles. I didn't even think clearly. Like, and the moment I got hit, my partner was like, "Sir, please don't," or something. Please leave us alone or something. And then the other guy is looking for my spectacles, and thankfully they didn't do anything to my partner. I wasn't even thinking that I should actually go and protect my partner and ensure that she's safe. She was just in front of me, near me, and she stood up the moment I got slapped. And I think before even I got slapped, and then after I got slapped, she was like, "Please leave us alone. Please leave us. Let us go," or something like that. And she started talking, and then for a moment I stood up, and then I was like wondering what to do. And I think I stood up. Yeah, after some time I stood up. I was just looking for my spectacles. This other guy is just looking for my spectacles. I'm just wondering what is going on. He then used his cell phone torch light to actually find my spectacle and then give it to me. And then I put it on, and then I had my phone, and I was like, okay, I should call 112, the emergency number in Karnataka, to call the police or to call for any emergency help, say ambulance, fire, and all that, right? I think in Tamil Nadu it's 108, and in Karnataka it's 112. Directly for police, I think it's 100, but generally similar to the US 911, we have 112 in Karnataka along the state level. So I just called up, but then I didn't talk to them. My phone was like in front of me. I was just looking at the phone and typing 112, and then I called, but then I didn't keep it in my ears or talk or anything. And I'm guessing they would have recorded what is being heard, but nothing much was being said at that time. 1 minute went on in the call, and I was just holding it, and I wasn't looking at my phone. I was looking at these people. For a moment after I wore my specs, I think this the guy who hit me asked me, "Do you have any money?" Like he said, "Amount irka." Amount meaning money, like amount or money in slang in the like that's what we usually call money. Some like there are different ways to call money, and amount is just one. Though amount is a English word, a normal word and all, but amount எவ்வளோ இருக்கு, how much money do you have, like எவ்வளோ mean how much. So they're talking in Tamil, and I was like, I don't have any money. And interestingly, I wasn't wearing any fancy clothes, or I wasn't wearing any tattoo, and I didn't have a fancy phone and all, like an iPhone. And I just had slippers, a very almost pretty much torn slippers, and dirty slippers. So I don't know what he was thinking. and he just accepted when I said, or like I don't know if he accepted, but he just didn't tell anything after I said I don't have any money, like I don't have anything. And once the 112 call was 1 minute, like 1 minute was done in it, and I still hadn't spoken to them. So I haven't spoken to them. I'm just looking at my phone after that. Like exactly when 1 minute was over, like 58 seconds or something was over, these people left off after asking, "Do you have any money? How much money do you have?" and whatnot, and then they just left off. And my partner was on the call with one of her friends, and her partner, who is older than us, I think he's 30 something, 35 probably, 33, 35 something, and she called them, like they were together, her friend and her friend's partner, and he spoke, and she was like, "It's an emergency, someone slapped Karpe," like someone slapped me, and as in me, not my partner, fortunately, and then those guys left, and I was trying to actually take a video, but then it was stupid that my video didn't have the flash on, so I couldn't see anything. I didn't realize that I could switch on the flash or something. I was like, damn, it's all dark, because it was pretty dark. And I was like, should I just take the picture of the scooter? But then they just went off pretty fast, and I didn't even go and read the scooter's number plate. And they just went away, and I was like, I was still feeling the pain, at least till for at least an hour or two, or a bit more, and it was hot for sure. And I was like, what happened? What was going on? And I was just wondering, they could have. And actually, my partner, when this started off, like, or just before it started off, she was like, "Do they have any knife or something?" Like, right? The guy who was walking around in front of us to and fro, the one guy, I think he was doing recon, like reconnaissance is the full form. I think he was basically trying to understand the situation, like how many people are in here, and are there any people around. He walked around. He was looking at the nearby adjacent road, which was a road with a lot of light actually, and then which was pretty close to us, and then my partner was asking, does he probably have a knife or a weapon or something? And then I was just wondering, is this a way to actually steal something from us or whatever? And then I was pretty surprised later, as like, they didn't snatch my phone. Like, my brother-in-law has lost his phone while driving a cycle on the road late at night. His phone was in his pocket, and someone went in a motorcycle or something and pulled out his phone, and then just ran away in the motorcycle, like just flew away. And my brother-in-law tried to catch them, but with his cycle and whatnot, he started shouting and all that, but he couldn't get them. So I was just wondering, why didn't they do more and whatnot? As in, like, what was the motivation and whatnot? What is the motive, modus operandi, and whatnot? And I was like, they didn't snatch my phone. They fortunately they didn't do anything to my partner. Ideally, I should have protected her. I should have asked her to stay back or something and whatnot, and stood in front of her and ensured that they are not nearing her and all that. Um, Nothing happened to her, and we got an auto after that, and then we got an auto, and then I left her in her hostel, and then I went back to my hostel, and then I spoke to her on the phone and all. Multiple things went on in my head after that. Like, I was just wondering, is this a hate crime where they're just trying to look at people, say hate crime because they hate people who are loving each other, who are partners because they ended up in a bad breakup, or they hate women for some reason, or they hate people in love for some reason because of something bad happened to them, or they are very religious, or they're just trying to be rowdies and religious and whatnot, and trying to say what is right, what is wrong. Or are these just kids trying to be rowdies and trying to practice how to be a rowdy and trying their hand at different situations? Like, for example, sometimes when someone hacks or sends some weird emails to me, I'm like, is this a hacker just trying to practice their hacking skills, because they could have done a lot more after hacking my Gmail account. But then this happened like years ago. So, and then I enabled some two-factor authentication and all in my Gmail account. So I was just wondering, like, these people also didn't seem to be hurting my partner, so they were not trying to be malicious in a way where they won't actually, they're they're just mad about women and are womanizers or whatever, right? And they just want to do something wrong to women, say hate against women, or they just are the kind of people who are I don't know, like for example, they're the kind of people who rape others, right? Rape women and all. So their motive was not that, or assault them, assault women, or assault people in general, or grope women or whatever, right? Some sort of sexual assault or harassment and all that. So nothing of that sort also happened. So I'm not sure what was the motive over there, but then I was like, okay, fortunately nothing happened. Unfortunately, or like it was dumb and crazy that I was leaving it to fortune. The first mistake that I did was I shouldn't have let myself leave myself. I shouldn't have let my partner be in such a situation, a vulnerable situation where we are on the road, it's dark, there's no one around, and it's really hard to call for help, and I don't even have friends, especially nearby in that area, or in general, who will just come up, pick up my call immediately and come up wherever I am immediately, and they have to be nearby to come immediately, even if it's like logistically speaking. It's not a magical world where they can just transport themselves to from one place to another place like in a microseconds time. So I don't have friends who would just pick up my call and be able to come immediately and like help or something. And of course, the police would not be able to come immediately, most probably. Um, and sometimes you can't even trust the police these days. Like my partner was telling about a situation where her friend and her friend's partner were actually bullied by the police. They were saying that they'll call their parents because their parents didn't know that they were in a romantic relationship and whatnot. They'll reveal it to their parents or whatever, or they'll file. I mean, police can do a lot of things. Like they can file a false complaint, false FIR, like as in false complaint, as in tell something that is not a fact, that is not true, and put a complaint, put an FIR, and all that, especially on the man and all. Or I don't know, they can do anything, or they're just people who are annoyed with their wife or their partner, their spouse, and like the police, right? And hence they are having a bad day or something, or I don't know, it could be anything. So same way here also, it could be anything. They're having a bad day or something, or this friend, basically my partner's friend's partner, was asking if they were drunk, asking me what happened and whatnot after they went, after the gangsters went or whatever, I don't know what to call them, juvenile kids, basically. They went, and then they asked me, like my partner's friend's partner was asking me, basically my partner's friend, they are also friends, partner's friends partner is also friends with my partner. So my partner's friend was asking, were they drunk, were they intoxicated or something. I didn't feel like they were intoxicated, they seemed pretty sober to me anyways. And I was just wondering what is going on, or did they want money? But if they wanted money or something, they could have also snatched my phone, or they could have just got my bag, which had my wallet actually. It had very little money only, and usually I anticipate something like this, wherein they'll just ask me to unlock my phone, check out all the banking apps, finance apps, and whatnot, and basically say sell all my stocks, sell all my mutual funds, and take all the money and give it to them, and use UPI to give a lot of money, use banking apps to give a lot of money, and whatnot, right? This is what I have anticipated before, and I've actually renamed all the financial apps in my phone actually. And my phone doesn't have icons, so they can't really see icons, but yeah, of course they can hit me and force me to actually be like, open up, we don't believe you that you don't have any banking app or UPI app. Open up all of that and then send money, whatever money you have, show the balance you have and send money and whatnot. So but none of this happened, right? I don't know what they were thinking, or were they actually scared when my partner started calling someone on the phone, and they didn't actually snatch her phone and throw it off. Like they could do that. They could snatch my phone also and be like, "You can't call anyone now," and whatnot. But nothing of that sort happened. None of that happened, right? So I was just confused. What happened? Are they just novice gangsters or something, or like novice wannabe gangsters and whatnot, or they are just kids who are just being kids and just doing something nasty? Suddenly they thought, let's go scare someone today, let's go prank someone today, let's go hit someone today. I know a lot of kids who prank people. Like, I've been in situations where I'm walking on the road with my bag and suddenly someone says, hey, look, and points at my knee, and I'm like looking at my knee, and then they start laughing, and then I'm like, okay, and then they're like, they're just teasing or something, and then they just go off. Sometimes I go on the road. So these are people, like, one moment. These are people who are like going in a vehicle, right? Going in a scooter, and they're like, hey, look, and whatnot, and then I'm like, okay, I'm looking at my knees to see what are they pointing at, and then they're laughing, and then they're teasing and bullying or whatever, and then just uh, pass by and pass through and go away, and I get really pissed. And then I've had situations where pranks, like for example, I'm walking on the road and someone comes in front of me or from behind, and they're going in such a way that it's like a zigzag, and it almost feels like they're gonna hit me and cause an accident, right? Or like, dash me my leg or something, and then they're like laughing around, uh, when I try to move off and try to protect myself. Or there are situations where people are smoking in front of me, and I'm like trying to move away from the smoke. I can see a lot of smoke around them, and I'm trying to move away from the smoke, but I also trying to protect myself from the road. So I'm like just twisting my head or something, and then going like this, and then trying to move away from the smoke but not walk in the middle of the road and get hit by some vehicle. And I've heard comments like, hey, look at him, he's being very, I don't know, I can't recall the exact comment. Basically they were just making fun of me. I don't know if this was like a prank or a hate crime, or gangsters, like, or wannabe gangsters trying to be gangsters, practicing how to be a gangster and all that. Mistakes I made, I shouldn't have put myself, especially my partner, in that vulnerable situation. So in a dark place and whatnot, and we were sitting and talking. There was no one else around, not much street lights, and I doubt it had any cameras. I doubt it, and even if it had, it was pretty dark, and I don't think it would have caught much in that camera and all that. And we didn't go to any police and all. And I was just wondering, like, I wasn't even very angry exactly. I was, I think, shocked, and then later a bit calm, and that's it. I think it was pretty late night, so I was like, I guess I could say I was sleep intoxicated of sorts. I'm usually intoxicated by sleep, so that's why fortunately I don't need alcohol or any sort of drink or whatever to intoxicate myself. I just need to be sleepy, and that's it. So I was mostly calm or okay. I was a bit shook. I was shook. Like, I was a bit shocked and I was shook. I was like, oh. I could see myself stutter more easily, and losing my breath at times. So I think I was scared and confused and shocked and scared. But I couldn't feel it that much. And I was just feeling the shock probably, wherein I was not able to talk in one go, talk complete sentences quickly, easily, effortlessly. And all. I was just glad that nothing bad happened, especially to my partner. And she was crying and she was sad that it happened. Of course, it's a sad and bad situation. She was feeling that she was at fault, but the reality is no. This is like saying, say, a woman gets harassed and she was wearing, say, what people call provocative clothes, and then people are blaming her, saying that she wore provocative clothes, or she went to a pub or a bar and she went late at night and that's why she got assaulted. I mean, people who get hurt are not the reason for getting hurt, right? Generally, at least you can't blame them, so they're not the reason really. They could have controlled it in many ways, yes, but that doesn't mean that the real people at fault and the real people to blame are actually the sinners, the wrongdoers, and whatnot. So if someone gets raped, of course the rapist is to blame, not the person who got raped. So we got, you could say I got assaulted, or we got assaulted and all, or we got attacked or something. Within, I could say, yeah, I mean, I got slapped, pretty tight slap. I could say, yeah, to some extent, or manhandled, you could say, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, who is to blame? Of course, the people who did it. And, but then I'm not gonna say I blame them, and then I'm not gonna say I'm not responsible for this at all. But then because I will be like, yeah, how could I have controlled this? Because I try to um, enact, and perform agency over my life, and have agency over my life where I have control over the things that happens to me. How could I have controlled the situation? How could I have reacted to the situation is the question, right? So I could have first of all avoided the whole situation completely by not being in that place, by ensuring that me and my partner are safe and sound in a place that is well lit and has some people around who can help and whatnot, and we are not in a vulnerable situation, right? Because I have thought about such vulnerable situations before also. For example, people go for runs and walks early in the morning, late at nights, and whatnot, or for cycling and all early in the morning, late at nights, especially early in the morning, say 4 a.m., 5 a.m., or 6 a.m. Sometimes it is pretty dark even at that time. Especially 4 a.m. can be pretty dark, or 5 a.m. can be pretty dark, where a lot of runners are actually running. And if you wear a smartwatch and if you have a phone that is pretty costly, expensive, someone can come and mug you, right? And they can actually get the phone, they can get the smartwatch, they can get your shoes, they can ask you to send money using your phone, even if you don't have your wallet. So a lot of times the running groups that I am in, people tell don't carry any expensive items. It's hard to not carry a phone, and usually a lot of the phones that people have are pretty expensive, or at least basic level expensive, even if it's not an iPhone always. So yeah, I mean, they say don't carry any expensive items. It makes you more vulnerable, right? Money makes you vulnerable. More money makes you more vulnerable, usually, in a world where people want a lot of money. A lot of people want a lot of money. They're greedy, and they're willing to do anything to get money. Especially gangsters, people who steal and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I've thought about that, and then but then I didn't realize that we are putting ourselves in a very, very highly vulnerable situation where we can be trapped easily and blackmailed. For example, later today I was wondering how the guy could have blackmailed me. They could have hit me and then blackmailed me, and that they will kill me and all. But then my partner is also nearby, so they can actually say blackmail that they will hurt her. So they could tell anything and say that they will hurt her, they'll do things to her, and hence I should actually listen to what they have to say. For example, listen to what they're saying and like act accordingly. For example, if they say send money, I should send it, or else my partner is at risk, right? So I was just glad that those kind of situations didn't happen. And then I was wondering, actually, I was feeling very embarrassed and sad and very, very embarrassed, right? Very ashamed of sorts, of like I've gone to gym and all. I have some sort of strength in me now than I've had before, and fortunately I was able to take the hit, the slap, and I believe I can take some amount of beatings without fainting off. Um, it's like how the Rocky Balboa or Rocky movies say, right? It's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can take. How hard of a hit can you take? Like, how much can you take? How much hits can you take, right? And still get back up and stand up and be able to fight and whatnot. So it's not about how hard you hit; it's about how hard you can get hit and still stand up and show up. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm a proper fighter and all, or someone who can take a lot of hits. I think to some extent I can take, and I do get pain a lot. But then I think I can handle some extent of pain. But then I don't know, like these bad people can be any amount of bad. They can hurt my eyes, nose, ears. They can start pulling out my teeth. Um, they can stab me if they have a knife. They can, slit me off, cut my neck. You know, all this Mumbai case in India that happened like years ago, a decade, more than a decade ago, I think, wherein they actually raped some woman and whatnot, and killed the partner and all that, and so they could stab me and whatnot. I think I'm fine with all that, but then my partner is also there, so that's the craziest part, right? Fortunately, nothing happened to her, and she was worried about me, about my safety, and I was like, see, nothing much can happen to me. I was telling her that, like, the worst case scenario, let's say I'm alone, leave her, let's say, because ideally in a mostly heterosexual world, in a mostly patriarchal world, men don't have that much to lose. Men do have some things to lose, but then women have a bit more. Women have their body, and they can get assaulted, raped, and whatnot. Bad, really, really bad things can happen to women and children. So old men, like men and older men like me, will not have much to lose. Don't have much to lose in a mostly heterosexual and mostly patriarchal world. So I was telling her the worst thing that could happen to me is they'll hit me, they'll hurt me, they'll stab me. If they are heterosexual, if they are homosexual and they are men, and they see me and they're like they want to rape me, okay, they rape me, and like I still come out of it somehow, or I die or whatever, right? That's fine. That's not really that bad. As in, I'm like, okay, that's the worst thing. They can just kill me, right? And I would be ready to probably give away my money and all. But then my partner is there. I'm like, shit, I am responsible. My dad has raised me in such a good way. You could say, fortunately, he has raised me in a good way, or I could say, unfortunately, because I have always been like my dad in many ways. He has taught me good things, a lot of good things, and never really bad things. And whenever he did something wrong, it was clear that he was doing something wrong, and he never justified his wrong stuff, wrong actions, or said that, hey, whatever I did was right. He knows when he was wrong, and it shows. So he raised me in such a good way, fortunately, that it's just like that. I was very concerned later how I didn't even realize my partner is just near me, and she's very vulnerable, very, very vulnerable compared to me. And she could easily be attacked and whatnot. So um, I was very like concerned, and I was like, shit, I should have been more responsible, and ensured that she wasn't in such a situation, right? And yeah, my dad has raised me in a good manner, that he was always like, uh, people around us and with us are our responsibility, right? So when I used to be in my first relationship, when I used to go out, or go meet my partner, then partner, ex-partner, I used to travel or go for a trip and whatnot. He used to be like, be careful, and be conscious, be focused, be careful, and remember that people who are with us are our responsibility. Though I didn't explicitly tell him that I'm going with my partner or I'm going to see my partner, it was obvious, kind of clear to him. So he didn't say that take care of your partner. Instead, he said, anyone who is with you, they are your priority and they are your responsibility. So I was pretty sad that I didn't realize how much of a bad situation I was in yesterday night, when I was with my partner, and like, how she was very vulnerable ideally, and but then she was wondering about me and concerned about me, and I was like telling her, see, dude, I don't have much problems. I'm not vulnerable. I'm not in a problematic situation. Actually, you were in a problematic situation because you are more vulnerable. So I am not so much of concern. Ideally, you are, is what I was telling her. And she was crying a lot, and it's understandable. She cares. So of course she cares. That's why we are partners, and it's understandable. But then I was just telling her with the rational mind that see, a lot of bad things could have happened and whatnot. And yeah, I was very ashamed that I didn't hit back or like fight back and all. But then I was wondering how else it could have turned. Like my partner was saying, I could have used. I mean, like she could have used pepper spray. She was like, I'm going to get pepper spray and knife next. And I was like, yeah, we will get it regardless because for your safety. And she was basically saying that we need to attack and all that. But then I was just wondering about how that could have turned out. Like, let's say I actually had a mini pocket knife, which was part of my nail cutter, and I had my nail cutter in my bag, which is also kind of like a multi-purpose thing, which has a filer, nail cutter, and then it also has two knives, one straight knife, one crooked knife, and all that. And I didn't realize I didn't. Also, I had my bottle, which is also a pretty solid steel material, and to just hit or whatever. But then I was just wondering how it could have turned out. Like, let's say I have a knife and I say, I try to scare them. They could take the knife. They could just snatch the knife from me and they could scare me. Or if I actually hurt them with the knife, they could actually take the knife and hurt me. Let's say cut them off, cut their arms, their face. I was just like so. Today morning I was so angry. Yesterday night I wasn't, but then today morning to some extent I was angry. I was like, damn, I should have just showed them that they messed with the wrong guy and all that. Like my revenge or avenge emotion was there, and I was like, I should have put a mark on his hand or his face or whatever, like, oh, like just scratched off, or made a good scratch or good deep wound such that he had to get stitches. And then I was just wondering how it could have gone in the wrong way also. Being a man, being alone is one thing, and then being a man and along with a partner, along with a woman or people who you love is different. Like heard situations where, let's say it's a bar, you're, with your partner, someone comes and harasses your partner. You go and start off a fight, but then they are in a part of a gang, and then they come and actually gang upon you and do something worse, right? Especially to you, that's fine, but then to your partner also. So in such a situation, the smart thing to do is actually try to move away and keep your partner safe, and try to move out of the situation and keep your partner safe, and then probably come back if you want to really take revenge. But then, as a smart guy, I know that revenge is not a good idea for multiple reasons. Emotionally, it affects you a lot. The whole hate and revenge and avenging, and then the whole anger consumes you. Even if you actually hurt them, it won't be enough. Sometimes it'll just be unlimited amount of anger, from the past, from some things, and then from the current and whatnot. It won't be enough. Taking revenge, it might not be enough, right? You just want to actually hurt them because they hurt you. It doesn't make you much different if you think about it, especially when it's a revenge and all that. Then you and them are no different, right? That's also thing. So a lot of times I've felt like, even in family problems, I've always wanted to be like, oh, I'm so angry at my aunt or uncle who actually did a lot of wrong things to my family, my parents, and my dad is kind of okay with it because it's his siblings and whatnot. But then my mom was like, it was like telling my dad like his siblings are doing so much wrong stuff, and she was all pissed. She never trusted them, hated them, and whatnot. But then they still had a weird family situation, and they were still like in talking terms and all. And I was always like, if this is all true and all these things about my aunt and uncle are true, and how come they're able to live happily? I hated that they're able to live happily, but because of them my family is not happy. Like my parents were fighting and all that. So there was a lot of like avenging and revenging emotions like that in me, and similar to that I was like, but then if I go and try to take revenge, it's not much different. Like they hurt my family and then I hurt them, then it's just me and them are no different. But then yeah, it hurts when you do nothing. It hurts when it's like when it feels it's all unfair and you do nothing wrong, but then someone does wrong to you and then you are not able to just see, like, forgive them. I mean, someone slaps me, can I forgive them? Probably easy. But then some bad things happen in the world, right? Like, for example, women get raped, women get assaulted and whatnot, women get killed, people get killed, or people get assaulted really badly, and men throw acid on women's faces, right? Can you really forgive such people, and can you really be like, I don't want to take revenge on them, or I don't want to actually do anything to them or hurt them? I don't think so. So anyways, so yeah, this guy slapped me, and then I was like, just for slapping me I was so angry. I was like, today morning I was like, damn, I should have hit him and all that. Then I realized, then wait, there were three people. Yesterday night also I realized there were three people. It doesn't make sense for a smart person to actually go ahead against three people and try to fight it off and whatnot. Also, when you have a partner around who is very, very vulnerable, she's a woman and whatnot. So clearly, that was a bad idea. Good that I never executed that idea. I still wanna do it, but then no, that's I'm not thinking in the right mind if I think I wanna do it. Like I wanna go hurt them. I was like, I'll go back and see if I can find them, like for example, tonight or whatever. I don't know. And yeah, I'm actually so angry against any kids who are going to be riding scooters, and going in threes instead of one or two people on a scooter, and without a helmet, and being all juvenile and all gangsters of sorts, right? I'm going to be really, really careful with such people. And people have provoked me a lot of ways, and I think yesterday night's slap was also a way to provocate me, I guess, or to scare me. Interestingly, I wasn't that scared, or it didn't show that much. I was clearly shook and shocked and confused. I think I was scared, but I didn't feel it. I didn't feel, I don't know, I can't recall how my heart was beating. I don't know if I was scared and if my heart was beating a lot. I wasn't sweating, but there's also the weather and how much water is there in my body to sweat, and how much hot my body is for it to sweat, right? So, anyways, but yeah, his slap, I realized that it is also probably a tactics to actually make me not be able to think, because when you slap, like when you hit someone, right, they hit me, I'm in pain. Now, the more I think about the pain, I'll not be able to think about anything else. I should be trained to actually be able to think beyond the pain I'm in, right? And beyond the shock that I've been given. It's not an easy thing. It probably comes with practice and whatnot. So I think it was his tactics to actually make me numb. In games, you see this thing shun attack, wherein the people are shunned and like you're just stuck mentally, or like just like that you're just shunned, shook, right? So I think he just slapped me so that I can't think, and I'm confused and scared or whatever, or multiple things, right? Especially suddenly, no indication of like he's gonna slap me. But of course he seemed pretty angry, like loud voice and whatnot. And I was like, I think that was a good tactic. So I should be really careful about such tactics where people try to take out a weapon or slap me or do something to actually ensure that I'm not able to think. Yeah, I should be able to think pretty quickly. I should learn how to do that. And ideally, I should know how to fight and be able to defend myself, to be able to block in case something comes against me. Leave hitting other people. I should be able to block. Like my reflex should be so fast that if some hand is coming near me, I should know, and I should be able to, let's say the hand is coming towards like this, I should be able to keep my hand like this so that they slap my hand and not my face, right? Like at least impact is less, or at least I'm like flexible, like my reflexes are good, that I just suddenly block it, right? And like they could come for a punch also, right? Like instead of going for a slap like this, they could just come for a punch like this. So I should be able to block it, right? And I should be able to do it pretty quickly, right? So I remember reading some weeks or months ago that fighting is like a skill. Most people don't know to fight. If you know to fight, it's a great thing. It's like swimming, or it's like something, I forgot. They said something interesting. So I was just, I've always wanted to be able to fight. Like us, it's like a generic men's thing. A lot of men want to be all, strong and all that, and they want to feel like they're very strong, and they want to be able to know that they can protect themselves and their loved ones. Yeah, I've always wanted to learn stuff like karate or taekwondo or jujitsu. I don't know, stuff like that, right? I don't know what is out there, but then basically mixed martial arts, kickboxing and boxing and whatnot. I've thought about it, but then I never got around to it and never had the time or never created the time for it. I used up the time for other stuff and all. But do wonder now, like maybe I should learn a bit of fighting and like how to block, especially to be able to defend myself and my loved ones. Um, and yeah, it doesn't exactly make sense to go ahead and have a knife and use it, especially let's say the person is just juvenile and just trying to scare me. It's too much to escalate the situation and give them ideas by actually taking up a knife and scaring them. And then, hence, them being scared will cause them to act in a bad manner. They can actually become more angry, be like, "You're scaring me, huh? Come, I'll show you who I am," and snatch off my knife or whatever weapon I have and use that on me, right? Unless I am actually sure that I can actually hold my weapon and not give it to them and whatnot. I'm not some trained fighter, and I don't think is if I have a knife, there is always a chance for them to get that knife from me, or they can have a knife or something, and they can use it on me, and it's just escalating the situation, right? And even taking up a phone and calling some calling for help is actually kind of escalation, and they can get scared and they can just pull my phone and hit me or whatever, right? And if I take my phone and try to record their face, try to do live recording, say using YouTube live or whatever, and get all sassy or get pissed in some way and be like, say hi to YouTube now, or something like that, or take a picture of their scooter's number plate or their face and whatnot. All of this can actually make them very aggressive, probably, most probably, and can scare them and can make them aggressive and be like, oh, you're now trying to actually take a picture of me or take a picture of my scooter and my number plate, or you're trying to take a video of us, huh? I'll show you who I am. And then they retaliate, right? They can easily do that, and you can expect that. So very tricky. Yeah, I mean, it's important for me to learn to be able to defend, I think, and also be sure that it's very interesting for me to be in such a situation, but then also very, very bad and very, very risky, especially with my partners. That too. Me being alone is one thing, and then you having an opportunity to fight and whatnot, but then it can go both ways. You fight, but then when you are in a fight, you can also get hurt and hit and whatnot. So it might seem interesting in some ways, but then it's actually, in a smart way, if you look at it, it's just stupid. Best wars are the wars that are actually avoided and skipped, right? Best fights and arguments are the ones that are avoided. So I should just idly ensure that me and especially my partner is not, they're not, like, we both are not vulnerable, and especially my partner is not vulnerable in such a situation where we are alone, dark place, no cameras around, no one around, and someone can just trap us and do anything to us. So yeah, every new low in life teaches you something. I think this was one new low. Uh, I was pretty angry today morning. I was like, some guy slapped me and I didn't do anything to them. And then I was like, in some ways, it was a good thing. Some ways, I was pissed at myself. I was like, I should have done something to them and all that. Multiple conflicting theories in my head going on. But I think mostly the right thing is to just defend and ensure minimum damage for yourself. Leave. I don't care about the other folks. So, yeah, I mean, it was a bit of an intense thing. It could have been worse, but fortunately it wasn't. But I'm not going to leave it to fortunately or thankfully or all that, and or leave it to gratefully and all that, and leave it to hope, and instead ensure that I use proper agency in my life and enact proper agency in my life and take responsibility and accountability for what happened, and ensure that I don't end up in such a situation, and I ensure that my partner especially doesn't end up in such a vulnerable situation. So yeah, that's all I had for this video talking about this incident. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.